Hello, my name is Day and welcome to another NGS class guide video. This video will be focusing on Force, another class I really enjoy playing. Every class works differently in NGS compared to PSO2. Same for Force. If you are looking to learn and play Force, you are at the right place. There will be different timestamp in the description for this video, in case you just want to look for a specific section. Highly recommended watch through the entire video if you are new to the class. Force is a class that relies on charge technique and has little mobility and lower health. Even though you do not have a lot of mobility, you are able to have the option for blocking attacks with weapon action on Rod and sustain damage over time with either Rod or Talus. The most important part of Force is that you are able to trigger status element on bosses, make them go down for a period of time for your MPA to get free damage off from that. Then Force has skills that help you regenerate PP, such as PP Convert. If you are using Rod, the weapon action acts like a parry that lasts a short time. If you are using Talus, the weapon action will place Talus above your character. It will then act like an auto turret, where it automatically fires and tracks the enemy with projectiles, with small amount of damage and small amount of PP regen. There are a total of 6 techniques now in NGS. All of them can be charged up, either boost damage or change how they behave. Void. Uncharged Void will cast and fire a fireball, traveling at decent speed toward the enemy. Charged Void will blow up at the spot your character is looking at or locks onto. Note that if there is anything between the enemy and your character, Void will not hit, so make sure to use this technique with a clear line of sight. Giveaway. Uncharged Giveaway unleashes a fire swirl around your character, does 3 ticks of damage, and has a high chance of staggering smaller enemies. Charged Giveaway put a fire pillar on your target, does 3 ticks of AoE damage around the initial target. Barta. Uncharged Barta fire a line of ice toward your enemy, hitting them 1 time. Charged Barta is basically the same as an uncharged Barta, besides faster traveling speed and better damage. Gibarda. Uncharged Gibarda fires 1 AoE ice wave in a big frontal cone shape with decent range as well. Charged Gibarda does the same thing, besides higher damage. You may play with uncharged and charged Barda types of technique with the Barda Bolt skill, which we'll get into in a second in the class skill section. Zonde. Uncharged Zonde summon a 1-hit lightning at the location of your enemy. Charged Zonde summons a 3-hit lightning at the location of your enemy, 2 small hits, and then a 3rd big hit. It does not have tracking, meaning if you cast Charged Zonde at the enemy and they happen to be moving, you can miss some ticks, especially the 3rd tick. Gizonde. Uncharged Gizonde places down a lightning field, ticks nearby enemy 3 times in slow interval. Charged Gizonde acts like a charged Zonde, but instead of locking onto a target, you will do a AoE 3 ticks, 2 small hits, and then a 3rd big hit. You may play with uncharged and charged Zonde type of technique with Zonde clad skill, which we will get into in a second in the class skill section. PP Convert. Active skill. Have to put it on a sub palette. For 30 seconds, you will get massive natural PP regen and lose 20% max HP with a 180 second cooldown. PP Convert Increase allows you to have max 2 stock of PP Convert. PP Recovery Boost. Increase natural PP recovery speed. Eradication PP gain. Killing each enemy around you gives you 5% PP back. Charge PP Recovery allows you to recover PP while charging technique. Rest of your Force. Place down a big AoE field whenever you use Rest Assign. It will then heal nearby players. The field lasts a few seconds. Anyone who walks into the field after being placed down will get healed as well. Slow landing charge. Reduce falling speed in the air greatly when charging technique. Allows you to stay in the air for a long period of time. Barda Bolt. Hitting an enemy with an uncharged Barda type of technique will place an ice sigil on them. Then using charged Barda type of technique will blow up the sigil for extra damage. At 4 hits of uncharged Barda type of technique will form level 1 sigil, 7 hits to form level 2, which is the max it can stack. Zonde Clad. Same idea as bar and bolt, but instead the sigil will be a ring on yourself, and the amount of uncharged zoned type technique required to build to the max level of ring will be 10. Photon flare. Increase power by 20%, increase max PP by 50, lasts 30 seconds, with a 180 seconds cooldown. Photon flare short charge, decrease power by 10%, and decrease technique charge time by 40%. Photon flare after PP gain 25% of the PP you use during photon flare once it go on cooldown. Elemental bullets. After successfully guarding with weapon action on Rod, your next technique cast will fire an additional photonic bullet, dealing extra elemental damage as the same element of the technique you cast. Rod technique keep. If you happen to sidestep or weapon action of your charge animation on technique, you will keep the charged technique if you cast the same technique afterward, and require no PP to cast. Maintain PP gain. If you do not attack or dodge after casting a technique, you will gain 15 PP. Rod React Advance. Successfully guarding with weapon action or dodge with sidestep will make you invulnerable for a short amount of time. Tricky Capacitor. Active skill. It charges up like Photon Blast. Once activated, your character then unleashes multi-hit attack with Talus. Talus Bloom Revoke. Cancel your Talus placement by holding down weapon action. Follow up with a Talus PA. Floating Pillbox Multi-Rod. Holding weapon action without directional input makes the overhead Talus targets multiple enemies. If you do not plan to use Talus on Force, you don't have to get these 3 skills only for Talus. You may invest these 3 skill points into something else. Force as subclass, you will have the option to get PP Convert, PP Recovery Boost, and Eradication PP Gain, meaning you probably won't have that much issue with PP management with these skills learned. There are many options for Force's subclass. Again, it really depends on what skill you want to support your main class gameplay. Hunter for damage reduction, Fighter for attacking down enemy, Ranger for resisting status ailment, Gunner for extra attack PP regen, or Attacker for Photon Blast gauge increase. I personally like to run either Attacker or Gunner as subclass, Attacker for extra Photon Blast gauge gain, and Gunner for extra attack PP regen. This part will focus on Talus PA since there is no PA for Rod. As you may know already, there are 2 PAs on Talus. Its main purpose is not to do damage, but to change how you want your Talus to perform under different situations, be it single target damage or AoE damage. Perforated shot. Fire a photonic bullet with 3 Talus formed from your character. During the effect duration, any technique will be changed into an element bullet depending on the element of the technique. Cannot be charged and hit only one target. Has no tracking but with some range. Spread Feather. Unleash a photonic AoE around your character, then form 3 Talus in front. Any technique used during this duration will become a frontal elemental AoE. Cannot be charged up, with some range as well. If you happen to use this PA and wait for a bit before doing anything else, 3 more Talus will spawn. A total of 6 Talus will then surround your character. Turning technique into AoE blast around your character depend on the element. Cannot be charged, with okay range on the AoE and decent AoE damage. Very good for mobbing. Technique seems a lot more balanced than CBT, especially the key type of techniques. I remember them being super weak back in global CBT. I'm glad they made some adjustment, hoping to see different elements technique in the future. Force being one of the tag classes to apply status ailment on bosses, it's very important that you hit the boss with its elemental weakness. The class is easy animation cancel on Rod's weapon action and can be played pretty safely, aside from Talus to fire elemental bullets from long range. Status ailment on boss seems very consistent, unlike PSO2 where the bosses get more and more resistant to the same status ailment. The gameplay for Force can be a bit boring with spamming the same technique over and over again, such as me doing the emergency quest only using Zonde for the entire fight that lasts 12 minutes. But nevertheless, Force would definitely be my go-to tech class. I enjoy playing Force on NGS, and will be playing a lot beside Gunner. What is your thought on NGS Force? Do you main Force? Or do you plan to play Force? You may leave a comment below. That will be it for this video. There will be future updates for this class, and I will keep you updated for those adjustments in the future video. If you enjoyed the content, you may drop a like or sub. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Dave. See you next time.